The Lucha Brothers are reportedly expected to leave AEW and sign with WWE. In fact, some reports suggest that the former AEW World Tag Team Champions have already held talks with WWE. All of the details on that, plus the latest status on Ricky Starks in AEW has been revealed. Creative pitches that have been turned down, as well as the possibility he could also be bound for WWE. Tony Khan opens up on the impending deal with Warner Bros. Discovery, calling it the most important time ever in All Elite Wrestling. There are reportedly travel issues ahead of tonight's AEW Dynamite that could affect the show. We'll let you know why. The location for TNA's Bound for Glory this year has possibly been revealed. Reaction internally to the NXT Arena shows has also been revealed. We've got the ratings for Monday's edition, the post-SummerSlam edition of Monday Night Raw on Sci-Fi. Bryan Danielson says that things have changed for the better in WWE, but he still prefers the style of All Elite Wrestling. Tomaso Ciampa attempts to RKO Randy Orton in a humorous video that also involves The Undertaker, plus Kayb Braxton reveals why she left WWE. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's begin with the future of former AEW World Tag Team Champions and former AEW World Trios Champions, the Lucha Brothers, because Phoenix and Penta, of course, have been the subject of much speculation recently regarding their status in All Elite Wrestling. It was reported earlier this year by Body Slam that Penta El Zero Miedo's deal was up this year, with Fightful Select reporting that Phoenix's is up as well. Fightful Select has been able to learn that the duo have told many that Penta's deal is up first and that Rey Fenix's will be up around September. Now, those that Fightful Select have spoken to said that AEW had wanted to re-sign them, but the process kept getting delayed by Penta and Phoenix. Over the past few weeks, it became evident to AEW that the duo weren't looking to sign new contracts, capped off by an ominous Conan tweet saying, quote, "What goes around comes around too." Now, Ibo of WrestlePurist reported that the duo are expected to go to WWE, and Fightful can confirm there have been discussions internally about bringing them into the company. Those that Fightful have spoken to believe that the Lucha Brothers want to be a package deal and don't want to go to WWE NXT. One source close to the duo says it wouldn't be surprising to see him in Orlando to prepare for the defection sooner rather than later. Now, perhaps the most surprising element to this story is that Fightful say they've had numerous sources close to the duo that say they've been pretty open in claiming that they've had WWE talks already and that there is a preliminary offer on the table similar to that of what AEW was offering. Now, when Fightful reached out to WWE sources, they wouldn't comment on the matters. So what are your thoughts when it comes to the future of the Lucha Brothers? What are your thoughts on the potential exit from AEW to WWE? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Now, speaking of possible exits from All Elite Wrestling, absolute Ricky Starks. What is the latest when it comes to the former FTW champion? Now, Ricky Starks has notably been absent from AEW since March, and many have naturally questioned whether he's still signed to the promotion or simply on his way out. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer shared his speculation on why Starks has been absent and the opinions of some of his AEW sources. Quote, "They wanted him to turn babyface. He didn't want to turn babyface. They're not using him," Meltzer claims. He then expressed his belief, based on those he spoke to in AEW, that there's an opinion that Starks is WWE bound. Quote, "I think that there's a lot of people who think he's headed to WWE because of Cody, and so they're not investing in him right now. I think that's basically the mindset. We'll see what happens," end quote. Now, MJF was recently asked about Starks and gave a glowing account of his colleague. MJF boldly asserted that Starks is one of the most underrated talents ever, and that he'd wrestle him any day of the week. Despite this, he still pointed out how he chewed Starks up on the mic in standard heel MJF fashion. Additionally, AEW President Tony Khan similarly only had good things to say about Starks during an appearance on Shaq Wrestling, wherein he claimed that he'd love to work with him soon, and debunked rumors that the star's contract is set to expire anytime soon. Starks has maintained that he has no idea about the plans in regards to his booking, and that he wishes he was on television. So what are your thoughts when it comes to Ricky Starks and his future? Where do you think he'll end up? Let me know your thoughts about that one too. Now, Tony Khan has opened up about being on the verge of one of the most important deals in All Elite Wrestling history. AEW President and CEO Tony Khan says it's all been building to this. AEW's media rights deal is coming up, and the company has been negotiating with Warner Brothers Discovery. Khan has often discussed the negotiations and AEW's relationship with WBD throughout this process. Speaking with Case, the producer from Q101's Brian and Kenzie Morning Show, Tony Khan was asked about AEW's growth, and he brought up how the company has went from having a 2-hour show to having 3 weekly programs. He commented on the negotiations for AEW's media rights and spoke highly of their experience with Warner Brothers Discovery. Here's what Tony Khan had to say.
It's changed a lot, but I think there's a lot of great growth and things that I'm really very happy about. To have AEW, where we started with 2 hours a week on TNT, and it's grown to 5 hours on TBS and TNT, going from 1 night of TV a week to 3. These are exciting opportunities. And right now, it's the most important time ever in AEW. We're on the verge of the most important deal we'll ever make, this upcoming media rights. And, it's been great working with Warner Brothers Discovery on the future. And for all these years, we've had so much great experience with Warner Brothers Discovery. And now, under the leadership of David Zaslav, the company, for us, the connection, the things we've been able to do, I think it's getting stronger and stronger. In Chicago specifically, we did one of my favorite Dynamites of all time this past month with AEW Beach Break. And having that show on Dynamite, that was part of this great partnership with Warner Brothers Discovery. Shark Week is something that's very important to the company, and with good reason. It's a huge tradition, and it helped get the company to where it is now. And I know it's really important to Mr. Zaslav and Bruce and Kathleen and all the top executives. And that's why I took so much pride in putting together one of the best Dynamites we've done. And it really set off a run of some of the best Dynamites. When we went to Chicago and we had great matches and moments, like, of course, Bryan Danielson versus Pac, and just a stacked show top to bottom. And to have Ospreay versus Garcia and then MJF at the end, it was one of the best shows, and it set off a run of shows this past month. It's been some of our best shows, then going into Calgary out of that show in Chicago for the Owen Hart Cup finals. And we did it all really building off Shark Week to do a beach break, and, went to the Shed Aquarium, and we're filming the sharks at the Shed Aquarium, filming North Avenue Beach, which is perfect time of the year to go do that. So with Shark Week being in July this year, at that time, we really capitalized on it. And that's the kind of stuff I think we take a lot of pride in. And as we've grown as a company, we've gotten really strong there in building these relationships. And I think now, over 5 years, it's really been building to this point where AEW is going to jump into the media rights and be a very profitable, successful company that has lived up to every expectation we ever could have had, because we've done so many amazing things in these years. We've had all these amazing pay-per-view records. We've really come in, we've done pay-per-view numbers, whether adjusted or straight up, however you want to look at them, head to head, very strong compared to the last few years of WCW. And I think that's really a success story. People don't necessarily, everybody know. I think the pay-per-views are really fun, but it's a really interesting business point that our business on pay-per-view, it's continued to get stronger. This year's been great for us. We've had some huge events, including Revolution, which was one of our biggest pay-per-views ever for the retirement of Sting. And, that was a 3-year self-contained story during the 5-year run that you just asked about. And I think that the arrival and the return and Sting's great run in AEW that culminated in Sting and Darby Allin winning the World Tag Team Championships. I think there's been great stories we've told, and now we're telling really great stories. I mentioned Timeless Tony Storm and Mariah May. Both of them have come in during this time, and what we're doing with them is some of the best storytelling and some of the most exciting work we've ever done in AEW. And now Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Now, of course, if we get any more details when it comes to the deal between AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery, we'll let you know in a future video. Of course, tonight is AEW Dynamite live on TBS, and it looks like due to some weather conditions, it might be difficult for some talent and staff to get to the show this evening. Several stars are struggling to make it to tonight's AEW Dynamite due to flight cancellations, according to AEW President Tony Khan. Tonight's AEW Dynamite is set to emanate from the LJVM Coliseum in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and is set to feature big matches such as MJF versus Kyle Fletcher in an AEW American Championship Eliminator and the first ever one-on-one match between Bryan Danielson and Jeff Jarrett. However, hours before the show, AEW President Tony Khan took to X to send out a pre-warning that many stars had experienced flight cancellations and as a result were struggling to make it to Dynamite. According to Khan, those already announced for the show have either already arrived or are en route. However, the travel mayhem, as he put it, was restricting him from making further announcements. You can see the tweet right there on the screen. Now, it's unclear which stars are subject of these delays at this time and how it will affect what Khan had planned for the show outside of the already announced action. Of course, we're getting more details on talent that's going to miss the show or be late or delayed or anything like that. We'll let you know in an upcoming video. Now, TNA Bound for Glory, the location for one of TNA's biggest pay-per-views of the year, has been revealed. TNA is set to bring Bound for Glory back to Michigan for the first time in years. TNA has teased that Bound for Glory will be held in one of the most visited cities in the world, but the company has yet to make an official announcement. Fightful has learned that Detroit is the planned location for the TNA Bound for Glory pay-per-view. This would mark Bound for Glory's return to Michigan for the first time since 2006, when the event was held at the CompuWare Sports Arena in Plymouth Township. There had been some rumors about the show potentially being held in New York City or even internationally, but TNA closed in on Detroit as the location for 2024. Regarding the company's future in the UK, Fightful have been told that 2025 could see the company travel there with more time to plan. So that is the location for TNA Bound for Glory. Yesterday, we spoke about the news that with the debut of NXT on the CW network, NXT is going back on the road. Now, NXT has had an explosive 2024 thus far, with a whole host of successful premium live events, brand new stars to fill the void left by those drafted to the main roster shortly after WrestleMania 40, and a working relationship with TNA Wrestling that appears to be getting stronger week by week. To make things even more exciting for NXT, it was officially confirmed that when the brand moves to the CW in October, they will be airing two live episodes of NXT from Chicago, Illinois and St. Louis, Missouri. The weekly show that airs every Tuesday has remained in the WWE Performance Center in Orlando for multiple years, so a return to the road for NXT is a big step. And according to Fightful Select, it seems as if the NXT roster is also very excited. Fightful's Corey Brennan was able to confirm that the general feeling around the announcement of NXT returning to the road was a very positive one, and a number of people cannot wait to take NXT on tour on such a large scale. However, it is not yet known whether this will be a permanent move past the October 1st and 8th episodes, but there is a lot of excitement around it regardless. It has also been announced that both CM Punk and Randy Orton will be stopping by to make appearances on the two NXT arena shows, with Punk appearing on October 1st in Chicago and Orton on October 8th in St. Louis, Missouri. Those within WWE believe that a number of main roster talents will be announced for the two shows, especially the October 8th episode, as that is scheduled to go head-to-head with Title Tuesday, that edition of AEW Dynamite, due to Dynamite being preempted by the MLB playoffs. Now, we have the ratings for Monday's edition of Raw. Of course, it was a SummerSlam post-show on Sci-Fi, as with the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs and Monday Night Football. Sports competition from the 2024 Summer Olympic Games has proven to be a thorn in the side of wrestling shows airing against them. That theory was put to the test this Monday, however, when WWE Raw, despite being moved from Sci-Fi for the second straight week, presented their Fallout episode from SummerSlam, a PLE that featured plenty of developments, including the return of Roman Reigns and the implosion of the Judgment Day. Interest from that proved to be more powerful than the Olympics, and a network change. WrestleNomics and PW Torch report that Raw drew 1.724 million total viewers and a 0.62 in the 18 to 49 demographic. The numbers were up strongly from last week's show on Sci-Fi, with total viewership rising 22% from 1.412 million, and the 18 to 49 was up also 22% from a 0.51. The only possible negative could be found in comparison to the 4-week average, with total viewership actually down 1% from 1.737 million, while the 18 to 49 was up 7% from 0.58. Considering the competition and the preemption, those in WWE will likely be jumping for joy at those numbers, which presumably would have been even larger had the show aired in its usual network on USA. Now, in terms of the quarter-hour ratings, these come courtesy of WrestleNomics, so shout out to them and be sure to subscribe to their Patreon service. While SummerSlam Fallout was the theme, with the heavy focus on the Judgment Day split and the continuation of Drew McIntyre and CM Punk's rivalry, Raw also featured some new things, such as the in-ring debut of the Wyatt Six, who defeated Chad Gable and the Creed brothers in trios action. Also featured was Bronson Reed's brutal attack on Seth freaking Rollins, where he hit Rollins with his finisher, the Tsunami, multiple times on the show. Now, Bryan Danielson, he's opened up on the changes that we've seen in WWE, as well as his thoughts on AEW. Bryan Danielson has commented on the style differences between the two companies. Of course, Bryan Danielson left WWE to join AEW in 2021 after accomplishing nearly everything there was to accomplish in WWE. The style in WWE, though, has changed, with Triple H taking over as the Chief Content Officer in 2022 and gaining full creative control in the fall of 2023. Speaking to the Gorilla position, Danielson was asked if he had any second thoughts of joining AEW, seeing how WWE has changed after he left. He said, quote, "No, not at all. No, I don't. I think how I view it is, obviously things have changed for the better there, substantially. How I view it is, one, I've had an incredible time doing what I'm doing. There are a lot of people who, and I think I'm one of those people, who prefer the style in AEW. That's more wrestling focus as opposed to the drama focus. I like the idea that there is an alternative. When I put thought into what I wanted to do as far as leaving WWE, I was never somebody who disliked WWE. I've tried not to say anything bad about WWE because I really enjoyed my time there and I enjoyed the people that I worked with. People that are there are still my friends. One of the things that I really wanted to participate in, this thing that makes the wrestling industry better for everybody involved. Having AEW, just the fact AEW exists, is much better for all of us. I'm also preferential to the style. I like the style a little bit more. Of course, Bryan Danielson is set to challenge Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Championship at AEW All In. Now, Tomaso Ciampa, if you've not followed this, it's been a bit of a recurring meme on social media, is constantly trying to RKO Randy Orton. Well, he wanted to create his SummerSlam moment this last weekend, and as I mentioned in recent weeks, Tomaso Ciampa has been trying to hit the Viper with an RKO out of nowhere. He has repeatedly failed, as his attempts backfired on multiple occasions. The quest even led Ciampa to getting hit in the nuts, as Kevin Owens tried to teach him about the element of surprise. Ciampa finally hit an RKO at the end of July, but he was at it again, as seen in a new post by Johnny Gargano. Ciampa said he wanted to create his SummerSlam moment as he prepared to RKO Randy Orton. He went for the RKO, but Orton walked away. Gargano asked Ciampa why he yelled and gave himself away. Ciampa admitted that he got excited, and then the dead man himself, The Undertaker, showed up. Here's what happened.
I know you already know.
I know what grinds your gears. I know what grinds your gears. There he is. Yep. Time. You've trained for this? I don't want to alert you, but you might be wanted for murder. I don't know.
I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
This is SummerSlam weekend.
Yep.
We're about to create our SummerSlam.
Are you ready?
moment.
You're going to do it. I believe in you. Now, be quiet. Yeah. I'm going to get him right now. Get him. Here it is. We built up to this moment. What the hell? Why did... What happened? Why did you yell?
I got excited.
You got excited.
Stupid.
He's right.
And finally, Kayb Braxton has opened up on her departure from WWE. Of course, she recently left the company and received a grand farewell from Cody Rhodes off-air during an episode of SmackDown, of course, that was taped in Madison Square Garden. Of course, Kayb Braxton was an announcer, an interviewer on all brands of WWE. That includes Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Now she has given further details on her WWE departure. She finished up with the company on the June 28th episode of SmackDown, ending her time with the company after 8 years. Speaking to Nikki Garcia and Brie Garcia on the Nikki and Brie show, Kayla was asked about her departure and if her contract had expired. She said, quote, "I was under contract. Announcers, we operate very differently. I just realized within myself after 8 years, I've done everything I can do here. You know how the schedule is at WWE. It's very hard to accomplish anything else you want to do. I just felt like I was starting to miss out on opportunities outside of the company. I wasn't doing much anymore at my former position. I just had to make the decision, not knowing necessarily what I was about to do in that moment, but I had to walk away. It was all amicable, and I just knew it was time for me to peace out." Following her WWE departure, Braxton has filmed Stranglehold, which also stars Ashley Benson, Jake Lacey, Justin Long, and Ron Perlman. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.